everyone. Welcome to the 420 Smoke Room. Today, our guest is Mr. Green Nub, also known as Jeff.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, hey! So, I'm excited to have him here. He has a Facebook group that he's recently taken the journey to launch, and that's a lot to take on, especially in the cannabis industry because they grow so fast. So, how is your Facebook group working out for you, and what is the name?
The name of it is Bean Collectors Anonymous, and it started real small, just kind of as a group thing, and it's kind of exploded into, I don't know, we got like 3,500 or 3,600 people in there, and it's grown quite a bit, and I'm juggling it.
Yeah, you're juggling it. I know. So, how was it that you decided to launch this group? Like, what was it that was like, I want to do a group?
Well, so Mr. Nubs, my name's Jeff, but Mr. Nubs came about is because, I didn't want my grandma and my mom and everybody in my, seeing all my weed posts. I just recently started growing.
Okay.
So I didn't want all my grandma and my mom seeing all the weed posts. I'm in all the weed groups. So, I want to post my pictures of my grow and all this stuff. So I made Mr. Green Nub. And Mr. Green Nubs, he's in there posting and stuff. And, I got all these seeds, like these cannabis seeds. Like every time I see a new drop, I buy one. Anytime I see just a nice name that I go, oh, that sounds so good, then I buy it.
So
If
you've
there's
been
a fancy
collecting.
what's that?
So you've been collecting good seeds, is what you're trying to say.
Well, yeah. So I've been collecting. I got this little box, and I thought I had a lot of seeds. So me and my buddies, we trade seeds. So I invited them. I made this little group, and I invited my buddies in. I say, it's somewhere where we can just kind of hang out and show off our collections. And it turned into, it just kind of snowballed. And I thought I had a big collection of seeds. There's people in my group that have tons of seeds, and it's actually really cool. So we turned it into something small, and now we have the breeders that are coming online, and they're coming in doing an interview, and they're telling us about themselves and what they got going on and stuff. So it's actually turned into something cool, and I'm just kind of happy to be a part of it.
Right. It's amazing to watch your ideal blossom.
Yeah.
So, let's start at your younger days when your first trials and tribulations started to occur, like your medical conditions, or perhaps what really got you into cannabis per se.
Okay. Yeah. So when I was younger, I wasn't I wasn't too much into cannabis. I joined the military. I left and went to the army and did a couple tours overseas, and I ended up bonking my head pretty good in Afghanistan. I get pretty bad migraines, and I have memory problems and stuff like that. So the army, in their wisdom,
Well, thank you for
thought it would be
serving, and thank you for going over to see not once, twice, but three times. That's got to be traumatic and hard and just a lot at one. Like just back, like were they back to back? I would assume because the way you spit that out.
well, it's a like a cycle almost. So you go overseas, you come back, you have like a year period of rest, and then you have a training period where you're doing about a year of training up again, and then you go overseas again for a year. So it's every couple of years you end up deploying.
Okay.
Some are less fortunate than others, and they miss that rest period and they move to another base that's gearing up to go. And there's a lot of guys that have 6-7 deployments under their belt. So um, I'm fortunate enough that for the 3 times that I went, just the last time I just slipped up, I hit my head, and I used to do helicopters and drones. And if they don't like people with memory problems or on drugs for headaches to be working on their stuff. So in their wisdom, they medically retired me. And from there, that's kind of where, the cannabis journey kind of begun.
Yeah, because you
Is
get out, you're reintegrating back into society, and you're also kind of dealing with these newfound medical conditions, and you're like, what next? Like, what do I do?
well, so kind of what happened was, as I was, I returned back from Afghanistan, they pretty much kept me doped up with, heavy narcotics and stuff. And was basically, I was eating pills for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And when I got out, there's little support. I mean, I didn't stick around long to seek it out, and I actually moved down south, and I moved to Nicaragua. So when I moved to Nicaragua, they don't have hard drugs like that, and that kind of I weaned myself off of the hard drugs, and yeah, I smoke pot occasionally down there, but again, nothing. I didn't do anything serious with cannabis until I moved back to the States, and that's
Okay.
where I started growing and stuff like that.
So what was it that like did the cannabis help you? What was it that was like this is what I need to do and I want to grow it like?
Well, so it started off. I moved back to the States, and here in Las Vegas, it's cannabis is legal. It's recreational. You can go to the dispensaries and buy it. But the rule is you can't, if you live within 25 miles of a dispensary, is you have to buy at the dispensary unless you have a medical reason, you know?
Mm.
So,
What state are
going to
you
the
in now?
dispense,
What's that? Where's that rule at?
what's that?
Where are you located now?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
And that's the rule there?
Yeah, so if you live within 25 miles of the dispensary, you're basically able to purchase from a dispensary. So anywhere in Las Vegas is 25 miles of a dispensary. So basically, if you live in Las Vegas, you're forced to buy from a dispensary. And they have
Mm.
medical dispensaries and they have recreational dispensaries. It's just that's your choice, unless you have a reason from a doctor that you can cultivate, and that's what I have. So I have
Oh.
my cultivation permit or license or whatever it's called, and I grow in my house.
Okay, so that's how you get to grow there. I didn't know that. I just learned something new.
So it
Okay.
depends. Each state in the United States, they have all different
Yeah,
rules and
they
different laws.
do. It's very different in everywhere, like every little
Yeah,
state.
it's hard to keep track of sometimes.
It is. But I've never like I haven't actually knew someone that was out there in Las Vegas area that grew or any of that that to know like the laws or have anybody actually like sit down and have that conversation with.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
yeah.
don't quote me like I'm not a lawyer or anything,
No,
but
no, no, no. But that's a good like that's basically that's a good way
that's
to like
what I had to do so I could
right.
grow. And the dispensaries, they don't carry the stuff that I prefer. So then it's you just say, hey, that's what I need so I can grow it, and you get your permit, and I have two 5x5s and sitting in my living room actually, and I got those all set up, and those run my plants, my medicine.
Right. I don't need to watch TV. I'm gonna watch them. It's beautiful. Like I love growing, watching them like bloom. I love the blooming part. It's my favorite part, and I less like when I like to take the most photos of the plant. Like I find myself in there every day finding a new bud. Like this one has to take a picture. Oh, did you see this one? But look at it under this lighting.
Yep. And they're all unique.
Yes. So I'm a grower as well. And I do have a lot of medical problems myself. Memory is one, but it's not really like from a specific injury. But I do like forget so much, and it's more or less from like malnutrition or like low vitamins and things like that, where I could get like these brain fogs, and from lupus. But yeah, like these brain fogs, I feel you on that. Like it's hard, especially when we're growing. So how do you keep track of like your days and stuff? Do you use apps or calendars? Because like for me, I have to always write stuff down, like what day we're on, when we started this or when we
Yeah,
did that,
yeah,
because I won't
yeah.
remember. I like to put sticky
Yeah, that's
notes.
one of my big problems is not remembering.
Right, or whatever already like what like the timeline or how many weeks are we on of this vitamin
Yep.
or this one.
So,
So from doing it for a few years now with my husband, we definitely like the sticky notes or a notebook, and like before we leave like the grow area, we just write down each day like a diary, like we gave it this
yeah,
amount of this, we did this, and then when you do that, we're able to look back like and realize like what we did, like if we got a better yield or we didn't get enough yield, like what did we do differently or what should we
right.
do different better now, like what should we keep doing that we did differently. Like you know what
Yeah,
I mean, depending on if it was a good or bad outcome. So for maybe that would also since you're in the beginning stages, yeah, maybe help you.
yeah. So I just started growing probably about a year and a half ago, maybe, and I got this is probably my sixth run now. So it's gradually getting better. This is my first run where I haven't had a major issue yet. With my fingers crossed, knocking on wood, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because because it's actually doing really, really well. So I run photos, I run autos. I got, like I said, I got two 5x5s, and I got some HLG Scorpion Diablo lights. So I decked them all out. I got all the good gear. So now, my logic is, if these plants are messing up, it's all my fault. So, I got all the good stuff. If
Yeah,
they're
well,
messing up,
sometimes you can have all the good stuff, but each plant, I'll be honest, from years of experience, each plant will talk to you and they will
yeah,
show you by what they're looking like, or if one's looking different than the rest of the squad, or you can tell most of the time, like by certain, like the way the leaves look, if it's low this or low that.
right,
And there's lots of levels and testing to do, like of the pH levels and stuff like that. And once you learn what each plant is doing good at, because they all kind of have their own level. Like I'll have one tent
yeah,
or one room need like this level of stuff, and the other tent need this stuff, but they're or even I'll grow the same genetics, and this part of the room, for some reason there must be like a breeze or something, they always are a little more lower, or they suck more water. Just kind
yeah,
of learning your space and kind of just keeping note to which ones need. And like the finger in the dirt test, a lot of times people just come in and like they water. Like you need to really know which ones are taking it and which ones aren't, and how often they're sucking it up or not sucking it up.
yeah. So
Really.
I'm learning all those kind of little tips and tricks, and people would tell me that exact same thing. Is like, you can read the plants, you'll know what the plants want, and I didn't believe them at first, and now before bedtime I can go in there and I know that two of my plants are going to look kind of sad. It's not that they're sad, it's they're tired and they're ready for bed. And
Mm-hmm.
about an hour before bedtime they start to look a little droopy and they look sad, but come morning time they're perked up and they're all
Mm-hmm.
happy and
They're
they're
gonna be
just
the
ready for
first
bed.
to awake.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool, and I don't even have soil anymore. So this run is my first time I've done DWC. So I made a bucket and I dropped the bean in there, and the plant started doing pretty good. So I said, well, I'm doing all right with this. Let me start another bucket. So now I got 4 buckets, and they just kept going. So now I have 4 buckets in my auto. I got 4 auto flowers in 4 buckets in that one 5x5.
See, that's amazing. And it's
And it's going
cheaper,
good so
and
far.
I've considered that, but I'm not quite. I'm really good with the dirt. My husband and I. My husband does more of the work than I do, but
Okay.
um, the dirt is where we are like really. No, we know what we're doing the best at.
Right.
Each plant talks to you differently based on what they're, whether how they're grown and where they're grown and stuff like that. So like even if like a dirt plant might show signs of this, but the same plant in water, that might be good. So like trying to learn the plants, that was where I had like the fear and the leap of switching to like water. And it's harder to control mold numbers, and you have to be on top of that. The
Yeah.
levels way, like like how you are, like right in your living room every day, 10 times a day, be able to have
Well,
access to that.
this
It's
is where I have,
tedious.
your environment dictates. So here in the desert, I have trouble with humidity because it's so dang dry. So the humidity is not a problem. I run humidifier 24/7, 365 all day, every day because it's so dry here. If I turn the humidifier off, it's 30% humidity and it stays there. It doesn't move. Sometimes it even goes lower than 30%. So humidity is, I need the humidity, and the same thing goes with the dirt. Is I was running dirt and I was running in soil, but then I got 2 5x5s. I'd have 6 to 8 plants in the auto flower, the veg tent, and then I'd have another 6 in the other tent. And when it comes time to chop them down, now I got 5-gallon pots all full of dirt, and out here in the desert, there's sand but not dirt. So when I dump dirt, it's drastically different in my yard than the landscape because I got, rocks and, it's a desert landscape out here. So dumping dirt everywhere, doing this every grow, I'm, going through six,
Right,
seven bags
that's not
of
logical.
dirt. Yeah, and amending dirt doesn't work either because then I have to have a whole corner dedicated to, amending it and doing all this. So it's just not just not doesn't make much sense for me. The water,
No, no, not for where you're located. It does make more sense, and you could take advantage of the atmosphere, way more better. Where in Michigan, it's winter, fall, summer in one day, and then like we could be high humid in the morning and then frosty at night. We could be
Yeah.
raining in the morning, snowing in the afternoon, and then sunny by
Get it all.
evening. Like our Michigan weather is very, very bipolar. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so we have like the dirt for me personally, is easier to
And you guys
control.
got, you got good weather, you got good soil, and like I said, you can just take dirt and go dump it in your backyard, and it blends right in. It's not you just work it into the soil. It's no big deal.
Correct.
But here, there's no soil; it's sand. So, like, me throwing 30 gallons worth of soil out in the backyard and then trying to mix it into the sand, it just looks like sand mixed with dirt, and it's like
Yeah, I totally understand. So let me ask you, how did Mr. Green Nub become your nickname?
hey, okay, so
A
like I said,
okay.
it's a good. I got lots of good stories, and I do a lot of silly things, so that's one of them. So when I left the military, like I said, I was medically retired from the Army, and when we got out, we moved down to Nicaragua, and I was living in Nicaragua we lived down there for 7.5 years. Probably within the first year that I was there, around Christmas time, New Year's, they start setting up these little stands on the side of the road, and they sell these fireworks, and they're like homemade fireworks. So it's like rolled up newspaper with gunpowder, and they use like a tissue paper as a fuse. So I have been purchasing these fireworks from these little stands for probably a month or so, because I'm a big kid and I like to play with fireworks. And I ended up buying one of these big, giant, it's like 2 soda cans stacked on top of each other, pretty much the size of it. And for some reason, in my bright idea, I wanted to scare my kids, and I was messing around, and I was going to just flick it off to the side, and that little paper fuse just was like lightning. So what had happened is it blew my thumb off, and I broke a couple fingers in my hand, and my hand swelled up probably triple the size it was and turned all black, and lost my thumb.
Lord.
So that's how Mr. Green became. And what's funny is that now, before this incident, when I had a thumb, I couldn't. Everything I touched died. I'd get it to sprout, but after that, I would kill it. Like literally everything. And now I'm actually doing, like I said, I ain't no pro and I'm no expert, but it seems to be that blowing off my no good thumb, now I got a green nub.
Right. So I can see how that makes sense. Like having a green thumb, but then now there's no thumb, and I couldn't grow with that thumb, and it makes sense, Mr. Green Nub.
I blew my bad thumb off.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, but I like the name, how it came about, like the nickname.
The positive side.
Yeah, like the positiveness in it, the ideal that you could grow now and like you couldn't grow before, and the fact that you relate those two together, like it had to be taken on.
Yeah, it's just a funny thing,
Yeah.
Turn a stupid mistake into something funny.
Yeah, and I like it. I like the positive energy that comes with the story. For sure, because I mean it's real life, but like at the same time, like I could see, it reminds me of, I don't know the name of the movie right now. I was a kid, but it was a bunch of trolls, and he had a green thumb, and he would literally like grow all this stuff. I remember. That's how I learned what the green thumb was. Like as a kid, like we all like get introduced to like what, like yeah.
Yeah.
So my husband has a green thumb. I'm okay with growing, but like I can grow house plants, I can grow some marijuana. But then there's certain plants I kill every time. And I'm like, dude, how? How can I grow this, and this? But I think it's that I don't really put enough time or energy into some of my house plants because they're house plants. They don't produce medication.
Yeah, you kind of forget about them. They're like not that important.
Yeah, they're there for prettiness, and sometimes I don't
get it for looks.
And I used to be such a green thumb, but then when I started growing cannabis, all my house plants kind of started getting slowly neglected to the point that I went from having like a whole green room to like there's a couple over there. Like literally I've transitioned.
I noticed them when they started like dying, and I'm like, oh yeah, plant.
And I know exactly what it needs, but like I'm so busy sometimes I'll tell myself tomorrow.
Yeah, this group keeps me busy, so like everything's been kind of getting neglected. So my plants, I've been getting to them, and it's like late in the middle of the night, you know. So it's like it always seems like I'm behind these days. So it's always something that needs attention.
Yes, it is definitely. I wouldn't keep up either with all my groups and all my stuff if I didn't write daily goals or weekly goals, like, and just each day try to accomplish one of these, a couple of these.
Yeah.
And then before I know it, by the end of the week, that whole list that looked like impossible to accomplish in 1 week, somehow I did like 90% of it.
Nice.
It's never 100 because like
trouble just making a damn list.
well, I don't like write the whole list down, but I write down daily. So like before I go to bed each night, I'll start writing down what I need to do tomorrow, and then when I wake up, I see that list. Or I've got like this weekly one that sits by my desk, and I'll write like, so I knew that this week I had 4 podcast shows. I had one Monday, I had one Wednesday, and I had one Thursday, and then I had one Friday. And I had Tuesday off initially, and then I ended up scheduling it in 2 on Tuesday. So I wrote those down, but I didn't remember the times or any of that. If it wasn't for, I use this Calendarly app, and it actually, like the one, how I sent that link to you to create the appointment, it basically gives me the time differences and converts it for me. So then, and it has a whole schedule. So all I got to do is click the app and click the word schedule, and it shows me like who all scheduled and what days and times. So then I can look in the morning. Each morning I'll look at my list on the things of like my house to do chores, as I call them, my have-tos. And then I'll look at what time the show is scheduled, and then I'll like figure out what I'm going to work around today. Like, because I know the dog's got to be taken out. I know I got to cook dinner. I know I got to take the kids to school. Like, I know I got to do these have-tos. So I don't really write those down, but the night before I will kind of like, okay, I got to squeeze and give this dog a bath, or I got to do, like, somehow I get it all done each day, and I don't even know how, but I think that's how, is through my little list, because I wake up and then it reminds me each day, like, oh yeah, turn in DHS paperwork. Oh yeah,
this is where I get I have so much trouble, is like me sitting down making a list, and I get distracted and sidetracked with my list, and I'm over here just scribbling on a piece of paper, and I forget all about what I'm supposed to do. Like it's bad. It's like a constantly.
That was me. So what I did to fix that is, instead of a randomly like a list, I literally have it next to my bed at night. So like once I'm ready to like turn the phone off and go to bed, or like just sit down and like have a moment to myself before I lay down, or flick the TV on, that's when I kind of go over my little list real quick. I write down, okay, tomorrow I need to go to the doctor's at 9:30. Okay, I got a podcast at 1 o'clock. Okay, cool. So now I know, and I got to turn in DHS paperwork by Wednesday. Okay, so that's got to be before 5 o'clock. So I can do that online. Okay, great. And then I know those 3 things. And when I wake up, now I do whatever I'm going to do before I go to bed. Then when I wake up, those 3 things. Like, and then I know, like, I got to wake up and still do the house. Like, I don't really write down, like, my chores. Unless it's a bonus chore, like you're cleaning out the attic, or you're doing something extra and you're trying to motivate yourself. Don't forget that attic, or something simple. But that's literally, if you are going to continue to like, do what you're going to do, or like mailing off that package, or, just the simple, like a post office run because you're running the group, whatever your things are. But when I did do that, and I still do that, it helps me. But when I stop doing it, I start realizing that I keep telling myself tomorrow, because I forget, and all day, and then tomorrow never comes. So if I wake up and it's the first thing I see, almost like a daily affirmation, but it's like your goals today. I'm not saying fucking affirmation, because I'm fully for them. But the first thing I need to see is, what the fuck am I supposed to do today, and what time? Damn it, I forgot already. Right. Like, I had it all planned out before I went to bed, and I done woke up and forgot it all. And because I'm forgetting it all, that is literally the only way that I even remembered our show today. Because I'm like, dude, I know I have a podcast today, but I don't know who it's with, and I don't know what time, and I don't even know what time zone they're in.
I tell you, when I wrote you, or you wrote me this morning, I was like, oh, we got a podcast this afternoon, no big deal. And it was like, well, we're ready. I was like, okay, well, let's do it.
Right. So yeah, maybe that little list, though, like, it helped me a lot. And I probably wouldn't be where I am without the list, because I found myself without my list canceling, rescheduling, or not even realizing that today was already the day you booked, because like you booked a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Like, how was I supposed to remember that? Like, so between that little app and the piece of paper, I'll check the app to see the time, and like I just know, okay, I got a podcast. And then every morning between that app and my little notes, I accomplish the goals, and somehow in between I be Cinderella.
That's pretty cool. I
Yes.
need to start. That's I need to organize myself a little bit better and just keep track of that kind of stuff because the fleeting thoughts that comes in my ear, I hear it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, and then it goes out my head as soon as it like I move on to the next thing, and then that thought is gone, and it doesn't come back until it's like an emergency, like oh shit, I had an appointment like
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes from now, so
Yep.
and I
And
can
screenshots.
go
I
back.
screenshot everything that I need to remember or something. And then if I'm trying to remember it real quick, I'll look through my photo galleries. And I often take pictures of everything, anyways, because I'm so, like, photo. And I post so much. I'm open a book on Facebook, no lie. So, like, I probably have a million photos from, like, I've been there since they opened, okay? Like, I've been 14 or 13 years on Facebook. My whole kids' lives are on there. Like, I take photos of everything. So, like, if I can't remember it, I'll look back through my photos. And if I've already deleted them, I'll go through my Facebook real quick or search it on my post. But, yeah, somewhere along the way, these memory issues. So,
And
no, go ahead.
no, it's all right. I was.
No, I cut you
Uh,
off. Go ahead.
I forget I was even going to talk about. That's what my memory problems come into play. That's what I was telling you. Is my brain goes. It's gone. The thought is gone.
So, does cannabis help you with that or relieve any of that or help you just stay focused? Or what exactly, how does cannabis help
So,
you with your memory?
so the cannabis, the memory. I don't think the cannabis really helps with memory. I mean, I I can't say it hurts it because my memory's kind of crap anyways. From when I hit my head. I couldn't tell you. I mean, maybe if I quit smoking and then did a side by side of not smoking about my memory, but it's more the anxiety and the PTSD and those kind of things that the cannabis helps with. Like this, I'm not a very public person, and I'll take, like you said, you take pictures and stuff. That's like anti me. You know what I mean? Like my wife
Okay.
tries to take pictures. I'm like, nah. Like I don't want to be in pictures. So now, I've been smoking, and it helps with that. For me, being around people and being around crowds and going out and doing stuff, it does help with that kind of stuff, and that's where I notice the most
Yeah.
benefits.
So you went from being
I can
antisocial to social.
I would say social, but
A little social.
I'm forced to be social. Like this group and Mr. Nubs, and it got bigger than I thought. Now I'm talking to you. You know what I'm saying? And and I'm like, why do you even want to talk? And people are like, oh, I like your lives and this and that, and I'm like, to me, it's like a silly thing to me because I'm not, like I said, I'm not that public person, and I'm not, I don't seek attention. I just
But
rather
that's
be
what
left
really
alone.
attracted me to your platform is you're the average person just like I am, and you are just waking up every day taking care of your plants, you're taking your medicine to physically help yourself, and just trying to get yourself, fine, doing what you love. And that's what's attracting people. Like, doing your lives and doing what you're doing is attracting the same type of people that are in the same energy and space that you are. And we're all kind of regular people. It's not like we're famous or we're these big,
Yeah,
people,
yeah,
and we're just waking up every day doing what we love, and it's attracting other people to what we're doing, which is encouraging to us at the same time. But it's also like, but why? Oh, but
well,
everybody can't grow, and not everybody can, everybody can smoke pot. Anybody can smoke pot that wants
yeah,
to, but not everybody can grow pot,
right.
especially smokable pot.
And
That
I got some killer members in my group, and I mean, these are all of them, from the new guys to the old guys. I got people in my group that are shoot 65, 70 years old, just starting to grow, all the way to I have expert breeders that are out here. Everybody knows their names. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
if you grow, you know their name. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling them up on the phone, and I'm talking to them, personally on the side, and I went from, like I said, a small little group of me and my silly little box over here that I thought, I had
My
a lot of
silly
seat.
little box. But that is literally what starts it. Is it starts an ideal, and we're just gonna do it, and the next thing you know, it grows, because when you're just waking up doing what you love, it turns into something more beautiful than you ever thought of, than as if you were forcing it. Like, and for many years, like, I literally had created so many other groups, or I sold so many like It Works products or pharmacy products or these products that I was like, oh, I thought one day I'm gonna be rich and famous from this, but really just me waking up and doing what I love and talking about cannabis and smoking weed and growing weed and taking care of the plants and stuff. That has been what is really, because I'm doing it naturally. It's not forced. It doesn't feel like a job. When I look forward to it, I'm so excited to wake up and do a podcast. I'm so excited to tell somebody about what I did. I'm so excited about yesterday's episode, today's episode. Ooh, guess what about Friday's episode? Like, you know what I mean? There's so much excitement that it literally gives you a drive. And that drive is what people are truly attracted to. And you already got the green nub, so you can do it. You can grow. Like,
and I love talking to this. That's the part I love the most. I think is meeting all these people, talking to the people, meeting the breeders and the guys actually doing it. Because I mean, I'm a fan of these guys, and I like these guys personally. So like, I want to, it's not just anybody can look up the strains. Anybody can look up, what's coming up, the new drops. Everybody can go find that kind of information, but what you don't get to know is, what these guys are about, where they came from, why they're the same kind of things you're asking, the same kind of questions. Like I want to know from the breeders that, hey, you guys have like somebody in your family has special needs or needed medicine. That's why you started growing, or, you've been doing it your whole life with your family, like all these. I want to know the personal side of these guys, not just the technical side. And I think they like everybody asks them all the questions about their strains and all the things, and nobody ever asks them about their personal.
Right. I want to know the personal. I want to know, how did you go from being a regular person to what you are today? Because like, I feel like I'm on a similar journey where I'm evolving. I have no idea where this journey is going to go or end or when or what it's going to become. But I definitely know that I'm excited and I'm just enjoying the ride, and for what it is. But I want to know, like, what it was that drove people, or what it was that they did, or how, like, for instance, Trey, the guy that was on the other day, he owns 4 dispensaries in Oregon. And we talked, but we barely talked about the dispensaries. We talked about his mental health. We talked about his time and as a vet, that he served. We talked about his, just his life and how he created these mental classes and meditation classes and how he became one with himself. And the next thing you know, he started growing pot, and 4 dispensaries later, here he is. Like,
Cool,
yeah, and it's like, I kind of feel like you and I are on our beginning phases of our journey, and that's kind of where we clicked at. And I just was like, I want to follow this guy. I think that he's going somewhere. He looks like he's growing amazing pot. He's got a good backstory, it seems like, and it seems like everybody is liking your vibe. And when I started watching your vibe, I'm like, I mean, you're really just the average person. It's not crazy. Yeah, you're just being you, which is genuine.
I'm just me.
Yeah, which is genuine, which I, just giving regular grow advice here and there, just showing your plants, or even learning from your group. Like, I looked back through some of your older posts, and like, you took advice from some of your group members. And, as a group owner myself, we run into a lot of other group owners who are all like cocky, and they're like, I don't need your opinion type of attitude without saying it like that. Like, I know what I'm doing. And
I don't know. I'm the opposite. I don't know anything.
Yeah, and I like that about you.
Yeah, well, I don't, and I try to be open to anything and everything, and pay attention and learn from everything and anything. So I'm all ears when it comes to that kind of stuff, and I don't claim to be any kind of expert or
no. And I like that. That's what I really liked and drew me to your group, that it really felt like a hands-on group, and it kind of brought back what the true meaning of Facebook cannabis groups kind of initially started as. Not so much of the whole free and giveaways and this, that, and the third that people kind of got drawn into for, but the original groups before it became all of that. And it was just about growing good pot and just talking about it and teaching each other and learning off each other, and just waking up and blessing each other in positive ways. So again, let's tell people the name of your group again while we're talking about it. So in case they want to join, they didn't like hear it in the beginning or forgot it by now.
Yeah, for sure. So it's Bean Collectors Anonymous. And it was kind of like a play, like, AA or something like that, or NA, like where, like people that got a problem and like, they go talk about their problems. That's kind of like how the group started, is like this group
Yeah,
of
because
guys talking about our problem, how we buy all these seeds, but we're never gonna. I got 2 5x5s, and I got more seeds than I'll ever grow in my entire life.
right, you were talking about that shoebox. It sounded like you had a real addiction. You're like, let me just put my addiction out there anonymously. You know?
Well, yeah, and then I started with a couple friends, and they got friends, and they got friends, and then it kind of snowballed into this thing. And me personally is I know like what I like to grow, and like I get excited about it. Like there's strains out here like I won't ever stop growing it because it's like that it just speaks to me. So it's like I'm always gonna have it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give some of these away because I love them so much, and I'm gonna just give them out of my own personal stash. So I'm just gonna do a little thing. There's like 50 people in the group. I was like, oh well, just give it away to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can grow somebody that doesn't have it, and that's kind of like what started it all. And it was like. I was just recommending people that I liked personally, and then it kind of snowballed into, well, let me get to know these guys, you know what I'm saying? Let me go reach out to them and see if they're what they're about, and start from there. And that's kind of how it snowballed. And now, we're bringing on more sponsors, and we got more people, and I'm, like I said, I talk to these guys almost on a daily basis, and I'd like to consider them friends. I consider them friends.
Definitely. So, I've made a lot of friends. Even though I've never met a lot of these people, I consider a lot of people friends. I associate with so many people that I've met just through the cannabis industry on a daily, where we talk about stuff. We give each other advices. We share information. We share, tips. We share all kinds of advice that I feel like they're more of my friends than some of the people I've personally met in person, right, or that I hang out with in person. I feel like, sometimes like they realize, oh, you haven't been online in 4 hours. They start messaging me, are you alive? Is everything okay over there? And like,
checking on you,
yeah. So I feel like they're friends. I feel like I don't have to meet you to be associated or be friends with you. Friendships can start, and brings you back to the old days where we had pen pal letters before Facebook, internet, technology, cell phones, all that good stuff. Right. We had pen pals, we had letters, or phone calls when they were on a payphone type of thing, or collect calls. We always had forms of communication long distantly, and I feel like just because it's a long distance relationship doesn't make it any less fake or realer than any other genuine relationship. It's still genuine.
No, and if anything, it's gotten easier.
It is, and it's easier to even work and network and, to help other people too, because it's not like your friend, in order to talk to this person, has to travel all the way there. Yeah. Like right now, you wouldn't probably be on my podcast show because you would have to travel to me.
It's opened up so much more possibilities, and the whole Facebook and social media thing, then it creates an area where you can get a lot of, and that's why the cannabis community is growing so quickly, I think, is, social media and stuff like that, is people can come. Now that people are in a legal state, but they can meet up here and they can discuss, what they got going on. They can talk about it. They can get tips and tricks and trade, their stories and how they grow and all this stuff. Even though they're illegal, they would have never met any of these people in other states, but now they're getting, advice from all over the world, basically,
You're absolutely right. And, that's a blessing. And if that door wouldn't have opened, or the legal part wouldn't have opened, I used to not talk about cannabis on my Facebook page at all, even though I was fully smoking it and growing it. But even when it was medically legal, I didn't. I waited until it was fully recreational. And then before it was fully recreational, I started in Facebook groups, and then I lost a couple groups, and then I started some more. And then it went from fuck just being a Facebook group, I'm cannabis and they're going to have to get over it. And now I'm just at the point, and then I launched podcast, and then this, that, and the third, that I'm just at the point that I'm fully about cannabis and it ain't going nowhere. And if you don't like it, then delete me or block me, and I hope you got my number.
Yeah.
Because now I can't not include it into my Facebook at this point, because it literally is me and part of my life now.
Well, see, my personal account, it's never been secret. It's just that I personally didn't want, grandma seeing,
right. And I was with you on that.
And all this, I post stupid shit all the time, you know what I'm saying? So it's I didn't want my poor grandma, having to see it every day. That's all, so I was like, let me open a side account, and then I could post whatever the hell I want whenever I want to. And then that's when it was on, and then I was, over here posting and, being who you
Mr.
are. Yeah.
But yeah, so no, I'm so fully with that because I was the same way. But then once it became recreational legal, and now we're in more than like about 40 something states or something, I'm understanding. I thought it was 30 something, but I'm told now it's like 40 something. We're basically fully legal at this point. That's kind of why I transitioned to like my page, because it's been so many years and I've done so many groups, and I still have all my groups, don't get me wrong. But I'm still like, this is like now who I am. And now that it's
Yeah.
so recreational, and it's recreational here and medical here, so and we like it's way like we're one of the states that anybody can grow 12 plants without even a license. And then with a license, you can grow way more than that, depending on which type of license you want. You want to grow 500 plants? You want to grow 150 plants? Do you want to grow? How many do you want to grow?
That's nice.
So,
I wish that was the case here.
yeah, so Michigan, to me, don't quote me because I'm not, but to me, I think we are the most advanced because even though some states were legal long before we were, they're fully regulated with cameras in their dispensaries and more of like, not federally, but to me, it feels like the popos are all up in your shit. Okay?
Yeah,
So,
I know what you mean. No, yeah, I know.
it feels more not so much what it is. Like here, we are the most go green friendly, put it that way, with our rules, laws, and regulations, and we even are opening grow schools.
And so here, in Nevada, the laws I told you, but the Arizona right next door, those guys have some similar to what you guys have, is where you can do micro grows and stuff like that. So it's like everybody's allowed to grow in their house a certain amount of plants, and then you can get a micro grow license and you go like 150 plants or stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's what I wish they had here, because I wish I had the option to grow a little more. But same problem I run into, the desert. Nothing grows good outside. I mean, I'm sure there's people out here doing it, but it's too much work for me. It's easy just to throw some tents in the living room and grow from there.
Yeah, tents are an amazing way, or even just like a room that you built up on your own later. Those are great as well. I'm more of an indoor grow. The only time I do an outdoor grow is like I'll take some mother plants later, and then when I'm deciding to like skim down on some after I take some clones or something, and I'm deciding like I'm gonna clear this whole tent out, everything in it will go outside, and this will be the last, and I'll bud them, and this will be the last time, these mothers are retired now. The new clones one of these will become a mother.
Right.
Or a new seed or whatever we're doing next. But I really try not to do outdoors, but I do throw a few out there right before October, so they're harvest around October, like September or something like that.
Nice.
And they, it works out great. They're all right, but they're nothing compared to the indoor grow. It's shitty quality weed compared to what you're growing indoors and what you're producing. And then you got so much elements or like mosquitoes that got attached to your shit. Like you're using tweezers to try to see, is that a mosquito or a bug?
Yeah.
And I'm good. Yep. Like I don't want to. Like imagine doing that to a lot of plants. Like that's just not worth. It's not worth it.
So my thought is like, personally, if I grew in a place that was hospitable to growing outside, is I would use my outdoor grow, and I would use that, for making the oils and the butters and the concentrates and the salt,
You're right on the money here. That's what a lot of people do here.
Still have your indoor, you got to have your indoor flower for your smoke.
Mm-hmm. And then dispensaries. I don't know about your dispensaries out there, but our dispensaries out here, the price has dropped tremendously, and the quality of the bud has dropped tremendously. And because they're literally doing, so you have two different types of indoor grows out here. You got the local grows, which are people like you and I who are putting your time and energy, and you're able to literally dedicate love to those plants. Then we have the large scale grows that are ran with operations of 9 to 5 with employees that come in, and no one really actually gives a fuck. They're all kind of working, and they all get the same type. They all go through a trim machine. And then they come out. They're not properly cured. You can grow some good ass looking shit, but if you don't cure it correctly, you can throw it all away. And that's literally what it becomes. Or they're sitting on it for too long because they done grew like 500 million pounds, and like they could only sell you X amount this year, or so then you're getting last year's grow this year, and like so it's super dry and dusty. So you got to be careful with the dispensaries out here, because it's like a hit or miss on some good shit unless you're going to pay top dollar. So you really got to look at the value of the cash for the bud. And if it's too good to be true, you're not getting good shit. Okay? So, like, you know, so I don't know. To me, then there's different taxes. We have, like, medical taxes, and then we have recreational taxes, and they're two different tax brackets.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it's the same like that out there, but...
Yeah. And then California's not far. California has like 30% tax on their stuff out there, so you're getting a good deal at $100, and then you walk out the door, it's like 135. You're like, what the hell happened?
Mm-hmm.
But here in Vegas, man, Vegas is geared towards the tourists, and prices are jacked pretty much all the time, and the quality is always dry. So they come pre-packaged. You can't it doesn't have.
Yeah, that's how they get you out here. Don't buy the pre-packaged. If I can't smell it, I ain't buying it. Yeah. That's the motto.
I shop with my nose too. That's how I know what I want.
Right. Know what I'm
saying is by the smell.
And now, once in a blue moon, if I can't smell it, I might take a chance on looking at it. But if I can't see it, and it's not a clear package, or you ain't got a sample package that's like.
Yeah. This is the problem here. Half the time it's in like a black bag.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they won't let you even touch it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, come on, man.
And no refund. You break, you buy. No, no refund.
A mystery bag.
But yeah, they're yeah. So I hate going to the dispensary, to be honest. I would rather a local grow before a dispensary, especially because even with the outdoors out here around October, like when we call it Croptober, you get that crap weed. That craptober, and it's all crappy until like fucking November in the dispensaries because they're buying out everyone's fucking crop, and it's like the trashiest stuff. So it's like, how am I supposed to medically, like, I understand if we're getting high, like, just to get high, like, this could be some okay stuff for, like, a broke person who wants to get high. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But, like, I am trying to get cured, and I can't get a cure, but I want some form of fucking help, and I want medication. Like, this is not even qualifiable. Like, I would have been better off popping a Motrin than smoking that shit.
Yeah, and that was my biggest thing is coming off the meds and stop using all the medications, and that's what the plants actually helped with the most is keeping away from all the meds.
So is that why you grow your own out there, because of literally what I just said, you can't get good quality weed for your conditions?
Yeah. Well, it's overpriced because it's you're in tourist land, so everything's overpriced here, and it's crap, and if you're gonna be like me, I'm a smoker, so if you're gonna smoke it's unaffordable. You can't make. I'll be broke. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Buying from the dispensary, so that wasn't an option, and I figured, man, I'll start growing. And the VA likes to give you pills, which is that's their thing. And like I said before, when I got out of the military, I was eating pills for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I was basically an addict. And so I'm real hesitant to take any pills again. I don't want to take pills.
No, I totally agree with you.
Hardcore, you know what I'm saying? And it was, when I look back at it, I was like, man, I was taking a lot of drugs, and I was I was on them. Like, I was taking them every day. Yeah. And it was pretty hardcore.
And the moment you complain, they probably gave you 2 more to help you through your complaint.
Well, something for something for everything, and then it's
mm-hmm.
we give you this for that, and then that's going to have a side effect, so we're going to give you this pill for the side effect. And
that was the story of my life.
Get nauseous from all these pills, so we're going to give you another pill. So you
want some Zolfran? So, do you still have? I know for me, I still have a duffel bag of medications from back in the day that when I decided today is the day that I'm not taking another one. Like, I am done. You can all fuck off, okay? I'm fucking done. But I didn't get rid of the bag because I like that bag. When I look at it, I remember that is what they considered fighting, and that is when they considered me healthy. And when I see that bag, I think of the pain, the sorrow, the constant sleeping, the not being able to get through the day, the nauseousness, like everything that they did and every side effect that they gave. And I realized mixing all these drugs together, like, who does that? The FDA won't even let me participate in a clinical trial because I'm on these two like how are we mixing all these safely? Like there's no person doing a clinical study that's saying, okay, 49 pills a day 3 times a day,
Yeah.
okay, for these
Yep.
8 diseases and these 3 conditions and these 6 side effects and this one
Yeah, like I said,
band-aid.
I was literally taking a handful of pills for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner.
Yeah,
And
so
then,
do you
you got
have
your rescue pills and all these other ones in between. And I was like, I'm popping pills all damn day long. I got a pill for this, a pill for that, a pill for this, a pill for that. And it's like,
so do you
all right,
have like your duffel bag with old like from the day you quit, like what I described? Do you have like something like that?
So you know what is it, when we took off down south and we moved out of country, we basically left with the clothes on our back. So we don't have much of anything anymore. That's from
Yeah. That makes sense.
past.
So I wouldn't want to. If I forgot you moved to Nicaragua, I wouldn't want to take that with me either. That would definitely. If I'm moving that far, this is something I'm letting go.
Yeah, we move all over. So like we lived in Nicaragua and then we moved to Mexico for some time, and we're living in Mexico. And so same thing. You build up a little stuff. Buy stuff. You get stuff. You start collecting stuff. Over 7 years living in Nicaragua, and then you move again to another foreign country. You can't take all that stuff with you, so you dump it all again, and you leave the clothes on your back. So we learned to live real. I have a TV, but it's like connected to like Netflix, and that's pretty much it. And I don't even watch Netflix. So,
You're like, that still don't even get watched.
I don't have cable. Like I'm a pretty simple guy.
Well, that's amazing. I like it. I'm really glad that you're not on any of those meds anymore. I'm really amazed by your group. I'm definitely excited to follow you in your journey and just continue to see where this goes for you and watch you as you grow and continue to network and develop. I'm interested to see how your harvests turn out because it really looks like you've got what it takes.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so how are you interested? Like, are you interested in coming back on the show perhaps in the future and giving us like an update and seeing, or even talking about your harvest and whether you were able to properly cure it or not, or like what your... Yeah. Perfect. Well, alrighty then. So until next time, everyone, thanks for joining the 420 Smoke Room, and I definitely look forward to hearing from you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.